Welcome everybody to our informational webinar regarding the Alpha Group opportunity. My name is Colin Lindsay and I'm the International Managing Director for the Alpha Group worldwide. The purpose of the webinar is to give you a good overview of what we do. I know you will have questions at the end of this and I would be happy to answer any and all questions. With no further delay, may I introduce you to the CEO of Noble Manhattan Coaching, Gerard O'Donovan, who will take us through this presentation. Gerard, over to you.
Good morning, Colin. Thank you very, very much. And thank you for our guests with us today from all over the UK, from the United Arab Emirates, Dubai, and beyond. Welcome, everyone. So, as Colin says, the purpose of this meeting, this presentation, is to give you an overview and a clear understanding of what the Alpha Group is, what we do, how we do it, the role of a regional director, the training, the backup, the support, and the ongoing help. So, without further ado, I want to talk to you about what does it mean to be part of the Alpha Group worldwide. And I've deliberately put the word elite here because we are. We are a small but extremely powerful band of nearly 100 now and growing in over 20 countries around the world, helping to develop businesses all over this planet. So in this short presentation, we will cover the following. We'll talk about who we are. I've written here our higher purpose, which sounds rather grand, but I will explain. How we will achieve what we set out to do. Exactly what the Alpha Group is. What does it mean, and this is the most important thing, what does it mean to be an Alpha Group regional director? We'll give you a brief overview of our company, the role, the background, the income, the support, what we do, how we do it, and so on. And finally, we'll talk about what does it take to be one of our very special regional directors worldwide. So, what are we trying to do? Well, first of all, the Alpha Group, we have a vision, we have a mission. We want to help change the world that we live in by helping business owners, the owners of what we call SMEs. We started this organization just about 9 years ago. We ran it for 6 years in the United Kingdom because we make a promise. We make a very, very special promise to business owners, and that is that we will double the value of their business in 2 to 3 years. So, we started it in the south of England 9 years ago. We ran the Alpha Group for 6 years. In fact, we didn't just run one, we ran 1, 2, 3, 4 completely separate Alpha Groups. We ran them for 6 years, fine-tuning the method, fine-tuning the offer, tweaking it where necessary to make absolutely sure that we could fulfill our promise to double the value of their business in 2 to 3 years. Then, just over 3 years ago, under the leadership of Colin, who spoke earlier, we launched worldwide. And in only a short 3 years, we have expanded into over 20 countries worldwide. So, what do? We work with owners of SMEs. What is an SME? Different countries have very slightly different definitions, but in most of the world, an SME, which is small to medium enterprise, is generally a company that has a revenue of somewhere between $1 million at the bottom end up to about 90 or 100 million US dollars at the top end. In terms of employees, it might be something like 20 employees up to about 500 or 600. We have set ourselves a vision, a mission, a goal to help 1 million businesses worldwide in the next 15 years. Now, why would we do that? What's the reasoning? Well, let me tell you the way I think. Most people listening to this will be aware that over the last decade, there has been financial challenges in the world. Starting in 2008, we had a financial meltdown. There was a catastrophe. It swept like a tidal wave around the world, and it impacted millions of individuals, families, communities in terrible ways. And some countries are still fighting the effects of that today. It is still reverberating around the globe. So when I look at the world, when I look at finances and governments, it always astounds me. It confuses me. Now, I have met many politicians in dozens of countries, and I'm sure they're all fine people, but they do confuse me, because if you want to help an economy, the way you do it is simple. You see, over 75% of every man and woman in the world who has a job, over 75% of all employed people work for SMEs. They do not work for the big multinationals, the companies that have become our household names. And yet, it would seem that most governments give help, disproportionate help, to the very large multinational corporations, while at the same time putting an increasing amount of taxation and bureaucracy on the local small to medium enterprises. So if you want to help a country, you help the SMEs. And just imagine a scenario where you have a city, and we take an SME, and they employ 100 men and women. And we can work with them for 2 to 3 years. And we can help to double the value of their business. Then 2 to 3 years later, that company might now be able to employ upwards of 180 or 200 people. Because they are doing substantially better and making more profits, they can also pay those people an increased salary. So by helping one company to go from 100 employees up to nearly 200 and paying them more, then we have substantially helped that community. You see, money is like energy. It has to flow. Money will flow from the company into the pockets of those men and women that work for it, and then out into the local community. Because all of those people have to pay mortgages and rents, they have to buy food and clothes in local shops. So the money flows like water out into the community, and everyone benefits. Because the people are making more money, then there will be a bigger tax revenue going to the government. Because the company is making more money, they will pay more in tax. So it really is a win-win-win situation. And that is our vision, our aim, our mission within the Alpha Group, to help 1 million businesses worldwide over the next 15 years, so that as a result, we will be helping tens and hundreds of millions of individuals, and we will be helping their communities, and more especially their families. So that is why we are wanting to do this. So let's look at who we are. At the top it says, who is Noble Manhattan? Well, the Alpha Group, big as it is and worldwide as it is a huge division of an even bigger organization called Noble Manhattan. The full name, Noble Manhattan Coaching Limited. Noble Manhattan has many divisions. We own an international magazine, the ICN, International Coaching News. We own Coach Radio, Coach Finder, and many other divisions. The Alpha is the biggest. I registered the Alpha Group, a number of domains, in 2004. That's when we had the idea. But we were so busy actually building the main mother company that we didn't have time to devote to it properly until late 2009, early 2010. And that's when we started and we launched the Alpha Group. We launched the first groups in the south of England with our very, very first regional director, Christopher Bayliss, who is now an executive director of the company in charge of product development. We ran it for 6 years, testing it, tweaking it, making sure we had a product that was world-class, world-beating, and unlike anything out there in the market. And I'll say that again, unlike anything out there in the market today. So we then decided, when we knew we could keep our promise, when we could look a business owner in the eye and say, we will double the value of your business in 2 to 3 years, we then decided to go worldwide. About 3 years ago, just over, we then launched. And today we have Alpha Group successfully trading in, and I've just listed some of these cities below: London, Manchester, Birmingham, Singapore, Johannesburg, Bucharest in Romania, Sofia in Bulgaria, Prague, Zagreb, Paris, Barcelona, Dubai, and many, many others. At the time of this recording, we are currently in well over 20 countries worldwide and growing. So, just a quick recap before we move on. Noble Manhattan, the mother company, we came up with the name in '93. I found coaching in '95, and we started Noble Manhattan. I started coaching as an individual, and then we launched the company in '99, and we started to train coaches worldwide. So this is our 20th anniversary. Up to date, we've trained over 25,000 men and women as magnificent coaches in a total of 29 countries worldwide. And within the next 2 months of this recording, we will be opening up in Moldova and Ukraine. So taking us to 31. You can see below, we've in the last few months launched in Lebanon, and we've opened a tiny sub-office in Moldova, and it will go live in a month. Denmark, California, Florida, and Ukraine in a month. We're an English-based company, and our head office, funnily enough, is actually not in London. We're in a beautiful, picturesque seaside town on the south coast, right by the beach, called Weymouth. And we do that because we want to live our talk. We're not a huge company. In total, there are approximately 400 people who work within Noble Manhattan worldwide. So we're very happy with where we are. So now let's focus back on the Alpha Group. What do we do? Well, we work with the owners of small to medium enterprises. A quick recap. A small to medium enterprise, and countries differ in their definition, but it's anywhere from $1 million to, or £1 million or euros at the bottom, up to 100 million at the top. 20 to 600 employees. The reason it varies, of course, is, a definition of a small to medium company in India would be very different to the description in a wealthy country like Switzerland. So that's why we have the difference. The Alpha Group is extremely exclusive. We meet once every month, starting at approximately 7:30 a.m. in the morning and going on until 2 p.m. in the afternoon. This is not a networking group. We do not stand up and hand over business cards. There are no laptops, there are no projectors. We sit around a board table. And at the head of the board table is the Alpha Group Regional Director. He or she facilitates and chairs the meeting. So we meet once every calendar month. We never allow more than 20 business owners in any one group. Never. So let's take a city like New York, San Francisco, Amsterdam. How many businesses might there be in those many different cities? I don't know. Tens of thousands. How many can join an Alpha Group? Maximum 20. But more than that, we never allow any two people from the same industry. So we only allow, for example, one manufacturer, one retailer, one accountant, one architect, and so on. Now, you don't have to worry about that restricting your opportunity to recruit members. If any of you listening to this ever remember, in the old days, we used to have a thing called Yellow Pages. It would have been a directory of businesses. Well, it listed businesses from A for accountant up to Z for zoo, and there were over 450 categories of business. So we never have to worry about the fact that no two from the same industry is in any way restrictive. So, quick recap. We meet once a month for 6.5 hours. We meet around a board table, maximum 20, no two from the same industry. We make one major promise that we will double the value of their business in 2 to 3 years. And as well as that, we will help them to dominate within their own particular niche. So whatever industry they happen to be in, we will help them to become the dominant player in their particular city or region within that time period as well. And what I've written here at the bottom is very important. So far, we have never, ever failed. So, what do? We have regular monthly meetings. Now, for everyone listening, we currently are in well over 20 countries. We are trading right now in something like 14 or 15 currencies. The American dollar, the European euro, the British pound, the Romanian RON, the Indian rupee, the Swiss franc, the South African rand. So we're dealing in many, many currencies. On this presentation, I'm going to be talking about finances. And to keep it simple, I'm going to use an example of one currency only. And I'm sure anyone listening to this can easily translate it into their own currency. So, members come to a meeting once every calendar month. They pay a monthly fee. The fee is equivalent to 300 UK pounds. Now, they do not pay in pounds. Members pay in their own currency, but it would be the equivalent of 300 pounds. We carry out a special workshop every time we meet. We have created nearly 60 workshops. Each workshop takes about an hour and a half, and they are unique. So we have created enough for each group to run a different workshop once every month for about 5 years and never repeat themselves. So the workshops are unique and they are powerful. And at the end of every workshop, the business owners will go away with a list of actions to take and to implement within their own company. We then engage in what we call a mastermind. Now, any of you who have read the wonderful work of Napoleon Hill will have heard of the power of the Mastermind Alliance. When 2 or more minds are gathered together and focus on the same issue, it is like creating a third entity. They are incredibly powerful. And every time we meet, we allow up to three of our members to present to their board an issue, challenge, problem, obstacle, or goal that they wish to achieve. And the other 19 members focus like a laser on helping that one member come up with a solution for their problem. Now, we actually conduct our masterminds in a completely different way to any other mastermind being done by any other type of organization. And if you ever join us, you'll see how we do it, and you will be very, very impressed. So the way we deal with it is very unique and very special, and is one of the ways it has helped us to help our members to grow their businesses dramatically. And again, of course, the membership is very, very exclusive. In fact, it's uber exclusive. We are looking to attract regional directors. We've recruited over 100 so far worldwide, but to achieve our aim of 1 million businesses, we are going to need many. We allow a regional director to run more than one group. We have some regional directors running 2 groups of up to 20 and some running up to 3 groups of 20. So a director can run more than one group. But we are going to need thousands of regional directors worldwide over the years to come. Their role is in their local city, after they have attended a very intensive 5 to 6 day training program, they go back to their city and they reach out into the business community, they talk to business owners, and they allow those business owners to apply for a position in that city's Alpha Group, and they recruit the members. Their job is then to run and facilitate that once a month meeting, and more, as I mentioned, if they wish. We also have created within the Alpha Group a unique coaching program. Now, don't forget that the mother company, Noble Manhattan Coaching, right now is the largest coach training company in the world out of approximately 900. We are one of the longest established, and we are experts in training coaches and creating coaching programs. So we have created a very powerful, very unique coaching model called the GOLD, G-O-L-D. We teach that to all of our regional directors to give them yet another tool that they can work with their members individually on a one-to-one basis, and of course charge for their services. And I'll come back to that in a moment. So let's now look at the income opportunities. Every member around the world, in whatever country they are, they pay a fee equivalent to £300, but they will pay in their own currency. We start by paying the regional director 43% on day one, but it goes up massively. We then have a rank structure. Regional directors can progress from regional director to executive director, and they get 53%. And we also allow regional directors to introduce other regional directors anywhere in the world, and they will receive up to 15% management override fees. And shortly, I will introduce you to some of our existing regional directors who are doing this with great success. Therefore, we actually pay out over 68% of all the income that the company receives back out to our regional directors. On top of that, the regional directors have the opportunity to do one-to-one individual coaching with their members and charge a fee. What they charge is up to them. But looking at what is happening currently around the world, the average fee is, as I speak, about £500 per session. Some people in Switzerland and other countries are charging nearly double that. In India, they're charging less. So I'm giving you an average. There are also other coaching and training fees available to all of our regional directors. So let's now look at specific numbers. If you are an Alpha Group regional director and you have one group of 20 members, that group will generate a monthly revenue of £6,000, or the equivalent in dollars, euros, and so on. So that's 20 members paying £300 each, equals £6,000 per calendar month. The regional director immediately gets 43% of that. Now on my slide, I've put 40 just for ease of calculation, but you actually get a little bit more. So you would get 43% or 40% of £6,000, which is £2,400 for conducting a 6.5 hour facilitation. And let me say again, the meeting, the role, you are not training, you are not delivering a lecture, you are not delivering a seminar, you are not coaching during that, you are facilitating the board meeting. So you run a board meeting. So one group of 20 will give you in excess of £2,400 per calendar month. And that is on an ongoing, guaranteed basis. And I cannot emphasize this enough. We have members today who joined us 9 years ago. We cannot get rid of them. Now, we don't want to. We love them. But I'm making the point that members, when they start, they stay. They love the fact that they are meeting other like-minded people, other business owners. They create a bond. They become like a band of brothers and sisters. The bond between them becomes so strong. So when you have a group, you are now on what we would call a guaranteed or leveraged monthly income. You will also find that when you get your group up to 20, you will have a waiting list of people who wish to join your group. So should anyone ever leave, you will have people to fill their place rather quickly. So therefore, you know before you get out of bed every morning, at the beginning of a month, you are guaranteed to receive £2,400 or equivalent every month for a group of 20. If you have two groups, and many of our regional directors do, that would be 40 members paying £300, a total revenue of 12,000. Well, you don't get 43%, you get 53%. So the more members you have, the more you get. In this scenario, I've just shown 50% because it's an easy calculation, and two groups would earn you the equivalent of £6,000 every calendar month. Three groups, which would be a total of 3 days work a month, and in fact not even 3 days, 3 half days a month, would give you £9,000 per calendar month or equivalent for a 6.5 hour facilitation. So when someone becomes an Alpha Group Regional Director, they attend an initial training program. And that is a minimum 5 and sometimes 6 day course. We do these internationally. We run training courses in Europe, the Middle East, Asia, and North America. And it is expected that the Alpha Group will travel to wherever the training course is. It will not necessarily be in a city where you live. So we do one in North America every couple of months, one in Europe, one in Middle East, one in Asia, literally every 2 months. And we allow all of our Alpha Group regional directors to come back completely free as many times as they want. Because you get to meet other regional directors, we add in new material on a regular basis. We also provide, as well as the initial training, a huge amount of ongoing training. The ongoing training is delivered in a number of ways. We have monthly webinars, we have physical meetings, and we have senior regional directors who provide ongoing training and support for their teams. We then, of course, have a leadership development program, as you would imagine, and we have leadership development courses taking place again in venues around the world, and all of our regional directors are able to come on the leadership development training completely free. What I would like to do now is introduce you to 4 or 5 of our current existing regional directors, men and women that have been with us for some time, and I'd like to introduce them and let them tell you their story and a little bit about their journey. First of all, I'd like to introduce a wonderful man who has become a personal friend, Gary. Gary Coulton is a professor, he's an academic, he is a business owner, he is a consultant, he is a trainer, and we are honoured that he became a regional director with us a short while ago. Gary, are you there?
Yes, Gerard, it's a pleasure to be here, and it's also a pleasure to have become your friend through being a regional director in the Alpha Group. I'd like to spend just a very short while explaining the three things that are really crucial to me as a regional director, and especially when I was thinking about becoming a regional director. So it was really vital for me that my personal why, my purpose, was aligned with Alpha's. And it's exactly as you described it earlier on. And it's wonderful to become part of something where I can see how my efforts will grow businesses and change society. The other thing that was vital to me was that I would be engaged in something that transforms the lives of the business owners and CEOs and MDs, because they will then transform the lives of the people that currently work for them and will work for them in the future. And Christopher Bayliss has this motto, which has really stuck with me: none of us is smarter than all of us. And I watched this happening in my room, in my boardroom in London. And it's the aha moments. And every meeting, someone will almost leap out their chair with an epiphany, something they just never knew before. And that really gives me energy. And the final thing, of course, was a little more self-centered. I'm coming to the time in my life when I need to build a business, not just get income. And Alpha provides me with a long-term residual income that allows me to build wealth sufficient to look after myself, my family, but also begin to think of how I could use that wealth to do some significant positive things for my local community and society in general. So anybody that's thinking about this, maybe another executive coach like myself, don't hesitate to find out more about what it is to be a regional director with the Alpha Group.
Thank you very much for that, Gary. Spoken like a true gentleman. I appreciate that. Now I'd like to introduce all of you to a gentleman called Mike Hoff. And Mike is based in the United Arab Emirates, in that wonderful city, Dubai. And I came to know Mike earlier this year, only in January, when he flew to the United Kingdom to do his training. He has since attended 2 or 3 other training courses, and I don't want to get my figures wrong, but in something like 4 or 5 months has built an organization of well over a dozen other regional directors in different parts of the world. So, Mike, are you there?
Hey, Gerard. Yes, I am. Thank you so much for that very kind introduction. And yes, it's been quite an exciting start of the year. It's only June and it's been incredible. So I'm very grateful to you, Colin, and the whole Alpha Group. And welcome to those listening to this webinar. For me, it was very similar to Gary in terms of purpose. I was looking for a way to reach, grow and develop more SMEs, and it's very difficult as an executive coach because there's only one of me. So I was really looking for a way of getting one to many. And I've tried a few ways in the past, but it didn't really work. And accountability was always key for me. They must do the work in between the sessions or else it's just not going to work. And coach accountability only goes so far. You can lead a horse to water, as they say. I knew that peer-to-peer was something in that. There's a way forward. And a very good friend of mine introduced me to the Alpha Group back in December last year. And I was started on a webinar just like you are here. And I got on a plane on January the 1st, not really knowing what I was going to. I'd paid my money and I was excited to get started. But it was day 2 on the train that really gave me the biggest aha. This has got teeth. This has got accountability. This really makes and helps businesses change. So it's been a great addition to my current coaching practice. And it's only half a day a month, as Gerard said. And you reach thousands potentially of SMEs if you choose to build a regional director network like many of us are doing. So yeah, if you're passionate about growing and developing leaders and the businesses, the Alpha Group will certainly enable you to do that and reach more people very effectively, very efficiently. And add it to your current offering, or maybe over time it could become more full-time. That's where I'm going at the moment. So I'm loving it so much, so you'll no longer really feel like it's work at all. So thanks very much for listening, and good luck.
Thank you very much, Mike. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Over there in sunny Dubai, where I'm told the temperature is something like 40 degrees at the moment. So well done. And now I want to come to a very special man, a man I also would love to call my friend, Jim. Jim and I got to know Jim a year or more ago when he joined. And Jim actually introduced Gary after a short while. And Jim is building not only his own alpha groups in the London area, but also building an organisation of alpha group directors in different parts of the world. Good morning, Jim. Are you there?
Good morning. Yes, I'm delighted to speak at this time. So I know masterminds work because I've used them a lot in organisations that I've worked with for many years. So what first attracted me to the Alpha Group was actually the masterminds, and then the quality of the workshop material. And as Mike said, the accountability that's built into the way that we work with clients. What really got me on the second day was actually the vision that we're going to help 1 million businesses worldwide double in value, but more importantly, the impact that will have on local and national economies, as Gerard said earlier. So I've a group building in Bromley, and as Gerard said, we've got 12 regional directors in my team, which I'm really excited about. I'm going to make a pledge that will be 24 in another 3 months, because we're getting ready to really start leveraging and scaling this up. And by February, perhaps reach 60 regional directors. So that's potentially going to be helping 1,200 businesses in the UK and perhaps beyond actually take their businesses and transform the way that they're going about business. So for me, it's fantastic. It's a legacy project. It's actually allowing me to do stuff that that I could only dream of a few months ago. And it is what it says on the tin. It will actually generate wealth for yourself, but actually it will give you a project that, quite frankly, will be meaningful long after my days. That's me. Thank you.
Well, I hope those days will be long, Jim. And thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much for that. And now we come to a wonderful man, Mr. Jeff Jones. Jeff was one of our first regional directors. He's based in the northwest of England, near a beautiful city called Liverpool. And Jeff is just an extraordinary individual. He was very senior in an organisation called BNI, Business Network International, ran 9 or 10 completely different groups. He's been involved in building insurance companies, which is a past that I have in common with him. And we struck it off so well. And Jeff has become a great friend and confidant of mine over the years. Jeff, are you there, my friend?
No, I'm not here. Good morning, Jared.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. I think the reality of it, most people will be listening to this video now because they're looking for an opportunity. And somebody asked me, what attracted me to the Alpha Group? Well, let's just picture this. I'm a Scouser. I like the simple things in life. But when I was shown the opportunity of being a regional director with the Alpha Group, my question was, what's the catch? It's got to cost more. I'd looked at Vistards, I'd looked at Business Doctors, and for me, the opportunity of being a regional director with the Alpha Group for what they were asking, there had to be a catch. We see, then I spoke to Jared. Jared showed me his foresight of what he thought about developing 1 million businesses. He had the vision. It excited me. It excited me about its potential. I even thought about, this is a post-it moment. I could be one of those people that was in at the beginning. Earlier, you've heard Jim talking about BNI. Well, after 20 years of being in BNI and watching that grow to some thousands of members in the UK, that's where I see the Alpha Group. We've just come into the UK. We've just formed. I know Jared says we've got track record and we're building, but it's beginning to gain traction. What do I like about it? I love the no boundaries. You don't buy a license with an area that restricts you. You can go anywhere in the world. There are no restrictions, no clauses. A plain and simple contract. You've got the support of every other RD in the world. Unlimited earning potential. Hey, you work as hard as you want to make as much money as you want. And then he goes and tops it all and gives us the gold coaching program. At £500 for 2 hours, there's got to be a catch. I think the thing that somebody said earlier, I think it was Gary, when Gary said residual income. I saw the Alpha Group as a pension that actually grows in retirement. It doesn't devalue, it increases in value. But after working with that other networking group, what I really found enlightening, when you facilitate one of these meetings, peer-to-peer is open, honest, searching, profitable for the businesses and profitable for us. But it's also great watching the businesses share in their successes and their experiences. I looked around my meeting many times with the AHA page and I go, why didn't I know that? I've been in business, I've been self-employed since 1979, but this is an exciting opportunity. So if you're watching the video and reading this and listening to the words, get in quick, and that's coming from a Scouser.
Thank you. Thank you. That's more than enough, my friend. Thank you. Said as always with passion and integrity. So well done, my friend. Thank you. And now we come to one of our wonderful dynamic ladies. We have just as many ladies as regional directors as we have men. In fact, it's pretty much a 50-50 split right now. And I came to know Krista when she flew from Dubai, where she lives, to Turkey to engage in a training program a few months ago. And Krista has been in incredibly senior positions, senior director positions in many organizations in the United Arab Emirates. She is a top trainer, consultant, mentor, coach, and I have to say, just a most wonderful lady. So, Krista, are you there?
I am, Gerard. Thank you. I'm humbled, honestly. As you said, I am relatively new to the Alpha Group, and what I wanted to do was, briefly explain why I became fascinated by the Alpha Group. I've never been a business coach. As you said, I've spent the last 25 years in the corporate world. And for the past 6 of them, I was captaining the growth of the Middle East's largest SME business community, which was also named the Global Free Zone of the Year. So in that role, I met hundreds of innovators and business leaders who wanted to access our vast network of SME business owners. But in my experience, very few of them could actually bring to the table a solution that would make a real difference to the performance of the businesses that they were targeting. And then I heard about the Alpha Group, and I hadn't seen anything like it before. I started out actually fascinated by the idea that someone could have taken so much business wisdom and wrapped it up in the 50-plus sort of simple and practical workbook. So that's actually what interested me initially. And also the fact that they were designed with a very clear purpose in mind, and that purpose was to help SMEs grow their businesses, but moreover to ready themselves for a better exit than they could have ever otherwise anticipated, and really accepting their dreams. And these were many of the kinds of conversations that I frequently found myself having with business leaders who were honestly a bit lost. I wanted to get access to all of those workbooks. But of course, as I learnt more and I launched my own group, I realised that we are doing something important. It gives me a good feeling, and I make money from something that makes other people much more successful and happy. So the Alpha Group has become a very important part of my corporate escape plan. So thank you for having me as part of the Alpha Group community. It's a real honour. Thanks, Gerard. That's it from me.
Oh, I'm delighted. Absolutely delighted, Krista. Thank you so much. And again, for everyone listening, many of the men and women that you've just heard from attended the training, finished, and went back to their respective cities and launched their groups in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, a relatively short period of time. So well done, Krista, and well done, everyone. So now let's come to what the investment, because it's obviously in the back of your mind, there will be a cost for this, and it's important to go through that. Let me first of all put on the table examples of current business costs and franchises. Now, being an Alpha Group Regional Director is not a franchise. It is not restrictive like that. In fact, as Jeff correctly said, there is no geographical restriction to your growth. But I'm going to show you just typical franchise costs taken at random from both the United Kingdom and the USA. And I won't labour this too much, but looking down the list, at the top left, a tax preparation program between $31,000 and $148,000. A commercial cleaning company is $57,000. A dance class, $76,000. Another commercial cleaning, the two at the bottom, one is $97,000, one is $37,000. Auto glass repair between $44,000 and $227,000. If you want to spend your life on your knees cleaning people's houses, then it's between $21,000 and $114,000. So these are huge figures, and to my mind, just extortionate in many ways. I can't imagine people wanting to pay that. The average franchise takes 3 years to break even. And that's not make a profit, that's just break even. Now let's look at some of our competitors. A description of the Alpha Group, if someone said to you, well, what exactly is it? We are a peer-to-peer executive board. Peer-to-peer executive board. We meet around a board table. These are the executives and owners of companies, facilitated by you, the Alpha Group Regional Director. Peer-to-peer executive board. The biggest in the world is Vistage. They have been going for 63 years. They have 23,000 current members worldwide. They're in over a dozen countries. They're very big. There's TAB, T-A-B, the Alternative Board. There is ACE, Academy of Chief Executives. There's another one that is not a peer-to-peer executive board, but they do work with business owners, and they're called Action Coach. They charge £63,000 plus VAT wherever you are in the world. They started in Australia many years ago. But all of the above charge from as little as, I say as little, from £30,000 up to £60,000 plus sales tax on top. So that is what our competitors charge. And our people earn far more money. Whatever you do in life, and this is very important, ladies and gentlemen, whatever you do in life, you are building someone's dreams. It's important that whatever effort you put in your job or your career, that you're building your dreams. Most people work in business, this is, not employed people, most business owners work 14 to 16 hours a day. 6 days a week minimum. Most franchise owners work 14 to 16 hours a day. Most franchises do not achieve profit until the end of year 3. For a smaller franchise, one that we'll pay maybe $20,000 for, you might hit that at the end of year 2. The amount of money that we charge to be a regional director covers all your initial training, all of the intellectual property, the territory that you will have your group in, and the unlimited territory where you can have your other regional directors groups in. And we always make sure that whatever territory you have room, should you wish, to build up to 4 full groups of 20 members, i.e. 80 members. Now, you don't have to. That's not an obligation, but it is there should you wish it. Now, before we come on to the price of the opportunity and your license, which I know everyone is very interested to find out, I just want to briefly talk about the initial training program that you get. To say it's comprehensive is an understatement. We will provide you with 10 weeks initial training. This is divided into 2 different parts, part 1 and part 2. So part 1 training is either 5 days from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. in a classroom, and we have many training venues all over the world, or if we do it online, it's 9 days at approximately 4 hours per day. So part 1 of the training will either be face-to-face in about 8 locations around the world, or online, and we use Zoom. And that works very effectively. And if you opt for the online training, then it saves you travel, accommodation, and so on. As soon as you finish part 1 training, you then go on to part 2. This is an 8-week program with webinars, videos, action plans, and weekly one-to-one meetings with some of our key leaders within the Alpha Group worldwide. These people will be guiding you, not only training you, but very importantly, mentoring you. And the plan is that by the end of that part 2 training, you will actually have your first group up and running with paying members. So you will be actually generating an income, and it will grow from there. Now, so how much is the opportunity? Well, as you can see from the screen, it's only, and you will be delighted to see, it's only £5,000. Now, whatever country you're in, whatever currency you deal in, you can pay in your local currency, but it is the equivalent of £5,000. Depending again on where you live in the world, VAT may or may not be applicable. For most countries, it is not. And again, if you compare this to the other organizations I mentioned earlier, some of whom charge £30,000, £40,000, and over £60,000 for an opportunity that is not as good as this. So only £5,000, and you may ask yourself why. And the reason we've kept it at such a low figure is to allow people to gain access to this opportunity. There is a plan that it will go up to just under 6,000 in about 6 months. So keep your eye on this space. So we also have, and I haven't covered this, a management structure, and we have 4 levels. You start as a regional director, you can become an executive regional director, and then we have 4 levels of manager: group manager, executive group manager, vice president, executive vice president. It's a bit like a military structure. Colin is ex-military, and so am I. I also spent time building an insurance company's direct sales force, and they have, assistant branch manager, senior branch manager, regional manager, and so on. So it's structured in a not dissimilar way. And one can move from being a regional director up through the management levels, and I won't go into the income here, but there's even more income and management overrides to be had from that. So again, just a very quick recap. If you have 2 alpha groups that you are running yourself, then you will receive the equivalent of £6,000 per calendar month. 3 alpha groups would give you £9,000 per month. If you had 4 which is incredibly small, 4 gold clients, and you were charging them 500 each, that would be an additional £2,000 per month. And if you wish to take the step of introducing other regional directors, and in fact everyone you heard speak earlier has done that, and they are building a management team of regional directors in different parts of the world reporting to them, then we pay you a management override, and we have different percentages, but approximately 5% going down many levels, 4 levels. So if you had 5 regional directors that you had recruited and they had a group each, then you would receive an additional £1,500 per calendar month. So all in all, the opportunity to earn both a large and an ever increasing income. So to achieve our worldwide goal, which is to help 1 million business owners all over this world in the next 10 to 15 years, we are going to need something like 30,000 regional directors positioned all over the globe. And that is why we are offering an unprecedented opportunity to our existing regional directors to build a worldwide organization by attracting other regional directors and building a worldwide organization. And we want to attract really good quality men and women who want to help themselves, help their families, help their communities, help the business owners, and help the world. And as well, and honestly, we are looking for people who want to earn a very good income and are not embarrassed by it. So, how do you become a regional director? Well, first of all, you have to apply and send in a CV, and we will ask you to sign an NDA, non-disclosure agreement. You then watch a webinar, which is this webinar. You then have 2 individual interviews, usually on Skype, with one of our international directors. The first interview will be where we will answer your questions, anything at all, anything you need to know about the company, the structure, the positioning, the income, anything. At the end of that interview, should we wish to take it forward and should you wish to take it forward, we will book you in for a second interview. And on this one, we will be asking the questions. We want to know who you are, why you are attracted to this role, what sort of sense of urgency do you have, what ability do you have, what value will you bring to the table, and do you have the ability to make decisions? Should we like what we see, should you want to be a member, then we will agree and we will send you a contract, and we both sign the contract. You get a copy, we get a copy. Then we show you all of our next trainings over the next 2 to 3 months, where they are around the world, the timings, and you book in on the one that suits you the best. As I said, every month there is a training course, sometimes 2. We do them in the USA, Asia, Europe, Middle East, and so on. One thing I didn't cover, a nice little extra bonus. If you do introduce another regional director, then that has saved us a considerable amount of advertising on newspapers, magazines, and radio, so we pay you a 15% marketing bonus. So the individual pays £5,000 to become a regional director. We pay you 15%, that is $750, and that has saved us recruiting fees. So everyone benefits. And finally, we're looking to form a team. We want to work with good quality people that we like to be part of our elite team worldwide. Who are they going to be? Well, I've put a question mark. We don't know yet. Every individual works very closely, all of our regional directors work very closely with our managing director, Colin, and his team of senior regional directors and executive group managers around the world. We provide regular support with webinars taking place every week, every month, and physical meetings. If you are interested in taking this forward, if you are interested in knowing more, if you are interested in speaking with Colin or one of our senior team and having a Skype interview, please email Colin at the email currently on the screen. colin.lindsay@the-alpha-group.biz. He and his admin team will get back to you. They will book you in for an interview at a time that suits you, and we will take it from there. And all being well, I look forward to meeting you and having a coffee with you on one of our worldwide training programs over the next few months. I hope that has been of help, of interest. We are here to help, to support, and to look after you, and to hopefully make the world a better place. Thank you for giving us your special time today, your most precious gift. I appreciate it.